The gender pay gap has already widened and we can expect to see it widen further.
It's not fair to say that everybody's on an equal playing field, that everybody's got equal access to work, because they don't.
The Women's Budget Group have gathered to watch the Chancellor deliver his budget speech and then develop some ideas of our reactions to it and craft a press release.
The Women's Budget Group brings two issues together which are normally looked at separately, which is macroeconomics and gender issues. It brings them together to the core of the discussion.
We do this every budget, and when we do this, it's quite a good opportunity for us to draw together our expertise, to really think hard about what the direction is for gender equality in this country, and to try and come up with some solutions for how to make women's lives better.
We're able to see who will be the disadvantaged ones and who are vulnerable to certain decisions.
It's really interesting coming to a meeting like this, where you have people around the table talking about policy, about what feels to me like abstract economics a lot of the time, when really the work that I do is on a day-to-day basis, seeing people living through austerity. It's, like I said before, the lived experience, what it means to cope and to consume in times when things are being cut for most hard-working families.
Women are more prone to poverty than men at all stages of their lives because they earn less money. They have to use a lot of money to cover the cost of childcare or caring for elderly relatives, and this is becoming increasingly expensive for them because a lot of the public services that existed to support people with caring responsibilities have been cut. And what we also know is that if women don't have adequate incomes, it makes them vulnerable in a lot of other ways, so they might be less able to leave violent or abusive relationships.
The deficit is down by a third. Now in the coming year it will be down by a half.
The Chancellor will say there's a record number of jobs being created in the economy. Well, that might be the case, but actually when you break it down and see, well, who's getting these jobs? What the Women's Budget Group has found is that actually more of these jobs are going to men than they are to women.
Women are concentrated in low-paid jobs, 0 hours contracts, pay restraint in the public sector, where so many women are employed, the so-called flexible labour market that all seems to be flexibility that benefits the employers. The Chancellor said nothing about public services, just business as usual, more austerity for the public services, even though the economy is growing again. What he talked about was lots of tax giveaways. The people who will benefit most from those kind of measures are higher income men.
If we don't do meetings like this, I think the voice of many groups in society wouldn't get heard, because not everyone is represented in the relevant decision-making fora. So it's important that it's being discussed. The Women's Budget Group, they do serve as an inspiration globally. And for me, the work became an inspiration to do something similar in Macedonia and to initiate it through my work and also independently as a person who is a gender advocate.
This research is really important because we're trying to achieve a closing of the gap, the gender equality gap between men and women.